Welcome to the Hillbilly Hoosiers After Show. With us tonight, we have writer and director Jackson Colvin, along with principal cast members. Let's talk episode 3. Jackson, how did you approach the Garrison chase so that we continued escalating things without losing the crux of the story between Johnny and Timmy and Sally?
Yeah, my favorite thing about Garrison as a character is he's kind of not really, even though he is like a human man, he's kind of more animal than man. And so the interesting part about the chase is kind of like, he kind of, instead of becoming like a character, he becomes kind of like a magical item in this episode. He's like the golden fleece that Johnny and Timmy are chasing. And so I think it's just important that, like, you know, as Johnny and Timmy are like chasing Garrison and they're going to different scenes and they're like getting exhausted and they're like they're, you know, and there's kind of conflict between them where, you know, Timmy feels like Johnny's not taking things seriously and Johnny just kind of wants to party. But it was an interesting contrast for me to kind of see them chase Garrison around the lake through all the different parties, and while they're like very stressed out about trying to find Garrison, everyone is just having like the best time in the world. So
one of the things that we worked through in pre-production was, how are we going to engineer these party scenes in our show in terms of the party environment? And some things that we worked through were, are we going to try to shoot this when a real party is happening, or are we going to have to wrangle some Lakers to be extras? And then some other things that we talked about were music and things like that, and then you'd run into some copyright issues. And all that to say, these party scenes are probably one of the more complicated sets of scenes that we have to shoot in this show. What was your approach to capturing as authentic party scenes as possible?
Yeah, the party scenes were like totally like that. The first time we did anything with extras, I was like 11 out of 10 stress levels. I was like, what the f is going on right now? I didn't even realize we're gonna have to tell these people where to stand. And that was definitely like one of my big like oh, welcome to being a director moments, because I really like those scenes. I was like, what, how the hell am I even gonna put this whole thing together? But you know, I think the good thing about our extras and about the Lakers is that they're always down to be in a party scene. They're very, I think they method acting, born to take on that role. And then, you know, it was just, you know, relying on help from everyone in the crew to like help organize, you know, definitely a lot of help from Ben, you know, with the extras and everything like that. And I think it was just kind of, you know, the hard part about blocking for me is because I was always like, oh, where should we put the camera? But I think something that I kind of slowly learned about blocking out a scene and stuff is like, just kind of, and I think Hannah told me this, but like, just do it how you think it would be in real life. Like, just set it up how you think a real party would look like, and then work backwards. Then figure out where you need to put the camera. But like, if you try to do everything all at once, it just gets super, super overwhelming and super complicated. But yeah, I'm happy with the ways those came out, because I think they may have taken some years off my life.
Well, this Poker Run episode for sure probably had the most moving parts out of any episode that we did. So Alex, once Johnny improvises the Garrison wrestling lie, when Sally catches them with all the cash, he just makes up the whole taking bets shtick. Did you play that as genius under pressure, or more as just like a lucky idiot move that somehow works?
Definitely a genius under pressure, because I don't think Johnny would see that as being an idiotic move.
Timmy spends this episode trying to impose order on total nonsense. Did you see this episode as an episode where Timmy grows up a little bit, or is this just how he gets when he's forced into any role of responsibility?
I mean, it's chaotic, and they like jump from piece to piece to piece to piece to piece. And for me, it felt like getting back to lake life a little bit, because episode 1, Timmy feels like he's still like kind of the misfit, still back from college. But then this is like, oh, we're back at the lake. Like, this is how rolls. And for me, like, I think there's a little bit, even in like what Jackson has written, like there's like a more comfortability in just kind of being back in the old chaos.
Sally somehow gets talked into sanctioning a Garrison wrestling match. How did you deliver that performance to make it believable for her?
The switch to going along with them, you mean?
Yeah.
I just think it was bottom line. Bottom line, the poker run had to be a success. She didn't mind them wrestling. She doesn't really care for either of them in a way where she's like, "Ooh, don't hurt my boy." Okay. And it was entertaining. And you know, when you're there and it's happening, it's like, what are you going to do? If she pulls that, then there's an empty slot, which will reflect poorly on her.
All right, Kyle, the wrestling announcer bit is such a quintessential Tim Sr. moment. How did you lean into the showman energy there versus just the chill stoner?
You may have noticed I'm a little bit older than the rest of the cast, so you know I was a big fan of boxing in the golden years, you know, the 80s when ESPN blew up with it. I mean, my dad was a big boxing fan, so boxing was on in our house all the time. So when Michael Buffer, the famous ring announcer, you know, the Let's Get Ready to Rumble guy, when he came about, yeah, I got pretty big pipes. So, I mean, when I was younger, I could do it exactly like him. I've been waiting 40 years to be able to do this bit. And you gave me a tip. When I saw it in the script, my eyes lit up. I was like, hot dog. We get to be Michael Buffer. But then with all the rules and stuff, that was just kind of a bunch of stuff to make my friends at home laugh. You know, it translated well to the show, but there's a lot of inside jokes with me and my group of guys that only they will get. So, but I hope it came across as funny anyway.
Well, I think it did. Are there any of the rules or inside jokes that you can break down and share with us?
I hadn't thought about this, but in high school, you know, in baseball, we'd go on road trips and stuff, and whoever was the lowest ranking member of the squad, usually a freshman or something, they would have to wrestle, you know, some of the seniors and stuff. And so we would clear out a hotel room and you would bounce from bed to bed, you know, be E style, fish hooking and do all the, you know, all this stuff, really trying to hurt each other. But the one big rule was no butt plugging.
Was that a problem? Like, was that happening?
Well, yeah, that was, you could get in there, you know, obviously we had clothes on stuff. But if you come like a wrestler and come underneath them, cradle them, you can get control of them. So we had no weenie whacking, no ball busting, and no butt plugging. Those were off limits.
The Poker Run is one of the most chaotic ensemble episodes of the whole season. What do you think makes this episode work despite just how crazy everything is from start to finish?
I think it's probably Sally. You know, just kind of overseeing the whole thing and trying to wrap her arms around it and trying to be in control, trying to have rules. But look at the people she's dealing with. I mean, a bunch of half-wits. And so she's got that.
I was going to say it's somewhere to go. So we know it's going to ramp up because, you know, we're getting there. But there was always somewhere to go.
I think it is like the constant mayhem of the episode that just carries it all the way through start to finish.
It's the shortest episode of the season.
Is it?
But it doesn't really feel like it, does it? No. Thanks for being with us tonight. Episode 4 drops next Tuesday only on this YouTube channel.
I know it's kind of weird, but I'll just show you. This is my cat Genghis. Well, I guess it used to be. Well, it's still my cat Genghis.
Hey everybody, I'm Ben Richards, founder of Intravision and executive producer of Hillbilly Hoosiers. To keep up with everything that we're doing and to grab merch from our store, follow or subscribe at intravision.us or visit intravision.us. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.